Oh, there we go. Good morning. Today is Tuesday, March 19th. Welcome. Took a while for Neuro to get that recording started. Your warm up is on the board, and the daily dive link is in the chat box. Click that link, open up the daily dive, and take a look at the sentences on the board. You'll only see one sentence in your daily dive, but we are going to talk about both of these for the warm up. So we are fixing the capitalization in the sentences on the board today. So you guys take a look at that, and I'm going to take attendance. Right. Alyssa, Aubrey, Christian, Emily, Isabel, Jessica, Catherine, Keon, Margaret. Good morning, Anasty. Maria, Maya, Scarlett, Sydney, and Anasty. Okay, anybody else? Anybody else pop in? Let me know if you didn't hear your name so I can mark you here. Good morning, Keon. Anybody else? I think I got everybody. Okay, awesome. So let's take a look at the sentences on the board. I am an invisible man. We had a 3-course meal. So what needs to be capitalized in those sentences? I'm going to give you guys whiteboard tools. Highlight the words that need to be capitalized. I want to see lots more highlighting. Everybody should try it. Even if somebody already highlighted it, you can still highlight it too. Everybody, use those whiteboard tools. There we go. Now we got some more highlighting on there. We got some circles on there too. Awesome. So why do we need to highlight I and we in these sentences? Why? Alyssa's got it, because it's the beginning of the sentence. We don't always capitalize things because it refers to a group of people. There's lots of stuff that we don't capitalize just because it's a group of people. But if it's at the beginning of a sentence, we absolutely capitalize it. Always capitalize whatever word is at the beginning of your sentence, unless it's something weird like iPhone, because Apple is weird and has that lowercase I. That's the only time you would ever not capitalize something, because it's Apple. So, but they're the beginning of the sentence, so always capitalize the beginning of the sentence. And the word I always has to be capitalized no matter where it is in the sentence, because that's how we do that in English. Not all languages capitalize the same way, but that's how we do it. German capitalizes all their nouns, which is super weird to me, but they do it their way, we do it our way. So always capitalize the beginning of those sentences. All right, give me a face, click a polling tool face, and let me know how you feel about capitalization. Are you comfortable knowing when to capitalize something? Let me know. Are you comfortable knowing when to capitalize something in a sentence? Use those polling tools. Let me know. I want to see responses from everybody. Yeah, I can't. I don't like that Neuro doesn't let you change your answer. Once you click it, it's gone. But you can put another face in the chat box. I liked the way Blackboard did it better. I don't know if anyone was around when we still used Blackboard. That was a few years ago. But I liked Blackboard because the these kind of tools were always available to you and they were like under your name and you could give me a smiley face or whatever and change it whenever you wanted to, I liked that. And I wish we had those back again. Oh, the daily dive. Okay. Um let me reset that for you since we're still in class and you told me right away. I'll reset that for you. No problem. There you go. Refresh, and you should be able to open that up again. Alrighty. You're welcome. Thanks for telling me immediately. Okay. So let's move on then. I always record these sessions and I post them in the content as well as in the weekly announcements. If you ever see anything weird, if a recording isn't there or something isn't working or whatever, let me know immediately. Call me, text me, email me. Texting is the fastest way to get a hold of me. And my phone number and email address is also in the top banner of our course, so you can always find it. All right, so Friday, the summary quiz was due. And I sent an email on Friday that had the link to the quiz as well as the links to the recordings from last week. So anyone who hasn't done the summary quiz yet or anyone who's missing some of the questions can watch those recordings. Each recording is labeled with which questions we talked about in that recording. So if you haven't submitted the summary quiz yet, check your email or look at the week 1 announcement on our course homepage for all of the recordings and the quiz link for that. There are some people who started it or are almost finished with it, but they haven't submitted it yet. I can't grade it until you submit it. So you have to click that blue submit button at the bottom of the quiz. So everybody check your grade, make sure you know whether you have a score for both the About Me quiz and the summary quiz. You should have a score for both of those assignments. If you don't, submit them so I can grade it. Next week is spring break. We have spring break until April 1st, so we have that Monday off as well. So I want to make sure we get the noun and verb phrases quiz done by Friday. So before spring break, you should have 3 assignment scores in your gradebook: the About Me quiz, the summary quiz, and the noun and verb phrases quiz. So make sure you have all 3 of those done before we go to spring break. Okay? Okay. I want everyone to have the best grade possible before spring break. Can't talk today. If you see an extra session with me at 1:30, that is my workshop session, and I have updated the invites for that. So anyone who is missing either the About Me quiz or the summary quiz is invited to that because I want everyone to get those in. So if you see that on your schedule, come to my workshop session or just do your assignments and then you don't have to come to my workshop sessions. Okay. So let's get started with noun and verb phrases. One person has already done this quiz, and I want to remind you guys that you don't have to start anything new on your own. Okay? I have the quizzes unlock on Mondays. Maybe I'll change it to Tuesdays so people stop doing them before we even talk about it. You don't have to start anything new on your own. Okay? You need my slides to do the answers at the beginning. So watch those recordings if you need to do the About Me quiz or the summary quiz. And whenever we start something new, just wait till Tuesday. We'll do it together. I promise. Okay. So let's get that quiz link. So here is the noun and verb phrases quiz link. Click that link and open up the noun and verb phrases quiz, and then raise your hand so I know you're ready to go. Raise your hand so I know that you're ready to go. Everybody. And if you're on mobile, just tell me in the chat box that you're ready to go. Raise your hand once you have the quiz open. David, Isabel, Jason, Keon, raise those hands. Margaret and Anasty, tell me in the chat box if you're ready. Let's go. David, Jason, Keon, raise those hands once your quiz is open. You want to work on these in class. Thank you, Anasty. Because you're here. You might as well do the in-class stuff in class. If you don't, then you have to take the time to do it later. Why would you do that to yourself? Just do it now. Okay. So let's take a look at the noun and verb phrases quiz. So at the end of this week, you will be able to identify and use different types of phrases. And we're going to talk about noun and verb phrases specifically. Yeah, we work on all the quizzes together. There's always in-class questions and then on your own questions. I will always do the first sections together. And you will be able to write your own independent and dependent clauses by the end of this week. So let's start with the definitions for noun and verb. Okay, so this is questions 1 and 2 on your quiz. I'm going to give you guys whiteboard tools, and I want you to tell me what the definition of noun and verb is, and then give me an example. So there are your whiteboard tools. So type it on the board. What is the definition of noun and the definition of verb? All right, nouns are people, places, or things. A noun is a person, place, or thing. How about a verb? What's a verb? Excuse me. What's a verb? An action or state of being. Action or state of being. So now give me an example of each. And we have nouns all around us. Take a look around your room, pick a person, place, or thing, and put it on the board. Give me at least one example of each. Everyone look around your room, wherever you are, and find a person or a place or an object. We don't want a sentence. We just want the noun. So what's the noun? Okay, park is a noun. How in this sentence, what was the noun? All right, mall is also a noun. Store, yep, there we go. Those are all places. Basketball, there's a thing. Anyone else want to put an example on the board for noun? All right, so quickly is not a verb. Quickly is an adverb. If you see an ly ending, that tells you how the action is being done. Quickly itself is not an action. It's a how that action is being done. Okay, swimming, running, awesome. So verbs are actions, or states of being. There we go. Lots of examples. Taking, jogging, baked, loves. Okay. So on the next slide, I'm going to take away the whiteboard tools for a second, and I'm going to put these examples down here and put the definition back up there. So let's make sure we have questions 1 and 2 answered. Question 1, noun is a person, place, or thing. Verb is an action, state of being, or um yeah, the ing ending tells what tense it is, like it's makes it present tense, but verbs don't have to have an ing ending. Okay, so for example, the word jogging means it's happening now, but if you put an ed ending, jogged, it means it was done in the past. And if you just write jog, that it's still a verb, but it's a different tense. so yeah, kind of, but they don't have to have the ing ending. That just tells what tense it is. And we're not really getting into tenses in this lesson. So, okay. Question number 1, definition of a noun, person, place, or thing. Question number 2, definition of a verb, action, or state of being. Okay, everyone good? Because our next couple of questions are examples, more examples of these. Okay. So we're going to identify the nouns and the verbs. And I'm going to give you whiteboard tools in just a second. And I want you to circle the nouns and highlight the verbs. So you can use the pen tool to circle just like that. Or you could use the shape tool, because there's a shape that you can make circles like that. Okay, totally up to you which one you want to use. And then the highlighter tool, of course, highlight the verbs. Okay, everyone good? Ready? You want the perfect circle? That is the shape, the shape section, and that will be next to the T. So it's to the right of the T, maybe somewhere around here. And you just click it and you can pick a shape. Circle. Okay, awesome. So let's circle those nouns and highlight those verbs. Circle the nouns, highlight the verbs. I see jump is both circled and highlighted. So we want to circle the nouns, highlight the verbs. So somebody fix jump. What is jump? Remember, we're circling the nouns. Why is jump circled? All right, circle those nouns. Underlining means nothing right now. Circle or highlight. Underlining means nothing. If you only see the pen tool, you should see a tiny little arrow box thing in the corner. Click it and it'll open up the rest of the tools. But if this live session is full screen on your computer, you should see all the tools. Okay. Yeah, I guess zooming in might hide some of the tools too. I'm not mad at you. You're good. I was told once, I used to co-teach with another teacher. She's no longer a teacher at Insight because she moved to South Carolina and I miss her. But I used to teach with her, and a student told us that she sounded like a kindergarten teacher and I sounded like a drill sergeant. So if I sound like I'm mad at you, I'm sorry. I'm not. That's just how words come out. I don't know. But it was eye-opening when I was told that. So, but whatever. All right, let's take a look at this. We got some objects, we got some verbs, object, verb, object, object, object. Okay. 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 Awesome. So, you guys did a fantastic job, and this one right here I thought might trip you up, because sometimes words like this trip people up, but you're right, friendship is a noun. The expanded definition of noun is person, place, thing, or idea, and friendship is one of those idea words, but you guys got it, so that's awesome. Okay, so on your quiz, question 3, select the nouns. There are 4 of them. All 4 of them are on the board. Make sure you were selecting all the objects for those nouns, or the ideas, like friendship, because friendship is on there. So table, computer, mother, friendship, those are nouns. And then the verbs, those are also on the board as well. Do, open, arrive, be. You guys got it. Awesome. Give me another face. How you guys feeling about knowing the difference between nouns and verbs? You guys got it? How you feeling? Confident? You should feel confident because you guys did a great job. Show me those confidence levels. And I'm still waiting for David, Keon, and Kirill to raise your hands. If you're working on the quiz, raise those hands. Thank you, David. You like learning new things? It does help your brain. It really does. I like learning new things too. It feels good to learn something new. All right, awesome. I see mostly smiley faces, a couple mehs, but that's okay. Well, we're still learning stuff. Okay, so let's move on. The next section is all about nouns and verbs. So question number 5, you're going to match up, or this section is noun and verb phrases. So let's talk about the difference between, oh, no, we skipped. There we go. Let's talk about the difference between phrases and clauses. Okay? Okay. So the first thing you need to know is the subject of a sentence is always going to be either a noun or a pronoun, maybe a proper noun, some kind of noun. Okay? The subject of a sentence will always be some kind of noun. Okay? And I think I'm going to give you guys the sentence formula that is most common in English, because we'll need to know this. And if you have me for the B section, you will really get to know this formula. So the way we write sentences in English is subject, verb, and then some kind of object. Okay? So that is the basic sentence formula. Other languages do it differently. This is how we do it in English. Subject, verb, object, in that order. And sentences can be way more complicated and have lots of stuff added onto them and everything. But we're going to focus on the basic sentences, basic sentence structure. Okay? Have you guys ever seen this before? Subject, verb, object? Yes, no, maybe so. Yeah, awesome. And if you haven't, hopefully it will start to make sense, because you guys know this. It's in your brain because, I mean, you speak English. So it's in there somewhere. You might not have had words to describe it or known why we write sentences the way we do, but now you will. Okay? So, subject, verb, object. That's how we write sentences. So, phrases and clauses are parts of sentences. So, a phrase is not a complete sentence. A phrase is just a group of words, and that group of words is going to act as one grammatical unit. For example, a noun phrase or a verb phrase. A noun phrase acts as a noun, a verb phrase acts as a verb. That's why we practiced the difference between nouns and verbs earlier. A phrase will not have both a subject and a verb in it. It could have one or the other, it could have neither, but it won't have both. Okay? Okay, so this is the subject, this is the verb. So a phrase, a noun phrase, for example, could be the subject of a sentence, could be the object of a sentence. A verb phrase will always be in the verb spot. Okay, but noun phrases won't have verbs in them. Make sense? Yes, no, maybe so. Hopefully. So question 5, you're matching up these definitions. So a phrase is a group of words that acts as one grammatical unit, will not have both a subject and a verb. A clause is a group of words that will have a subject and a verb. It could also have an object, maybe, but it will definitely have both a subject and a verb, a clause. Clauses can be either independent or dependent. Okay, good with the definitions. I know you might not know what these mean yet, these down here, but that's okay. As long as we have the definitions, matched up. Got it? A phrase acts as one grammatical unit, does not have both a subject and a verb, and a clause will have both a subject and a verb. Okay? Any questions so far? Anyone need more time matching these two definitions up? Okay. Okay, so now let's look at noun and verb phrases. So this is questions 6 through 8. So question 6 is the definition of a noun phrase. So here's the definition of a noun phrase. It's a group of words that functions as a noun. That makes sense, right? Noun phrase is a group of words that functions as a noun. Noun. Makes sense? Yes? Okay. And it can include the subject, the object, sometimes a prepositional object. But a noun phrase will include the noun and any modifier that distinguishes it. So this is the answer to question number 7. A noun phrase includes a noun and any modifier that distinguishes it. And a modifier, if you have me for my B section, you'll get lots more information about modifiers. I kind of wish those lessons were switched in the A and B section, but that's okay. So a modifier describes a noun. Okay. A modifier describes a noun. So we're going to look at this example real quick. So what is our noun in this phrase? And remember, the phrase is not a complete sentence. So this is not a complete sentence. So what's our noun in this group of words? The haunted house in the woods. Do we see a person, place, or thing? What's our noun in this noun phrase? Just one word. Which one's the noun? Just one word. House. Okay. So I'm going to highlight that because that's our noun in this noun phrase. So now, what are the modifiers that distinguishes? So what describes this house? What kind of house is it? It's a haunted house. Yep, absolutely. So I'm going to underline that. And we always include the articles, the, a, and, stuff like that, because those always or almost always come before nouns. The haunted house. So we're including that little the. But we're not done. It's not just any haunted house. It's not that haunted house I went to last October. It's a different haunted house. Which haunted house is it? Modifiers make things very specific. So you know exactly what we're talking about. So which haunted house? It's the one in the woods. Yeah, it's the one in the woods. So we have our noun, which is right there, and then we have all the modifiers that distinguish it, which could include objects or sometimes prepositional objects. This in the woods is a prepositional phrase, which can be included in our noun phrase because that's what a prepositional object is. Okay, so that's the entire noun phrase, the haunted house in the woods. It's one thing, right? Not a complete sentence, though. We could make it a complete sentence by adding something to it. So let's make it a complete sentence. What can we add to the end of that to make it a complete sentence? And we're going to remember our um, sentence structure: subject, verb, object. So we have our subject, the haunted house in the woods. So now we need a verb and an object. So tell me about this haunted house in the woods. You guys get to make up the rest of this sentence. What about this haunted house in the woods? We need a verb to make it a complete sentence. Throw out any verb. Well, we're adding to the sentence. We already have haunted in here as a modifier, and haunted isn't a verb. Haunt would be a verb. Okay, the haunted house in the woods is creaking from how old it is. Perfect. So you could have added anything that you wanted to that. Haunted house in the woods is creaking from how old it is. That's a long sentence, but that's okay. So we have our noun phrase, the haunted house in the woods. So in green, that's our noun phrase of the rest of that sentence. Okay, so whenever in the quiz at some point you're going to need to highlight or underline or something just the noun phrase of a sentence, this is what that looks like. The haunted house in the woods is creaking from how old it is. Make sense? So the noun phrase itself is not a complete sentence. Yes, no, maybe so. Makes sense? Okay. So just so you guys can see the rest of the sentence in action, I'm going to highlight these different colors: subject, verb, and then object. So in our sentence, we have the haunted house in the woods is our subject, and it happens to be a noun phrase. Then we have our verb is creaking. That's actually a verb phrase. And then we have the object from how old it is. So we got our sentence structure. So you can see how those different parts work together. Make sense so far? I think it's kind of neat once your brain wraps around it. Okay, so question 6 is the definition of a noun phrase. Question 7 is a noun phrase includes a noun and any modifier that distinguishes it. Question 8 is the definition of verb phrase. So a verb phrase is the part of a sentence that contains the verb, the helping verb, and sometimes it could include an indirect or direct object. Not always, but sometimes it can. But it never has the subject. So we have our is creaking, our verb phrase, highlighted here in this sentence. Okay. And then we have a sentence here. And we see several verbs in this sentence, but only one verb phrase. So what are the verbs that you see in this sentence? Walking in the rain, James slipped and fell. What verbs do you see? Anybody? What verbs? Or what actions are in that sentence? Okay, walking. That's a verb. Any other actions that James is doing? Slipped and fell. Okay. Slipped and fell. So, verb phrases contain verbs, helping verbs, and it could have an indirect or direct object in it, never the subject. James is our subject, so he's not going to be included in our verb phrase. So, we have these are just verbs, but our verb phrase is right here. We have an indirect object right here, walking in the rain. So that's our verb phrase. Okay? We're going to look at more examples. Good so far? You guys got up to question 8? Okay. So let's look at these sentences. And question number 9 is one of these sentences. We may or may not get to that sentence today because we're going to look at lots of examples. So let's put our sentence formula back on the board. Subject, verb, object. And let's look at this first sentence together. The company is looking for a candidate with experience in marketing. So, what's our subject of this sentence? This first sentence here. What's the subject? And the subject is always going to be a noun or a phrase, or a noun or a pronoun doing the action. Okay. Aaliyah, we're on sentence number 1. We're doing sentence number 1 together. That's okay. Okay, so Cat's got it. Or no, yeah, Cat's got it. Company is our subject because that's, remember, our formula in this order. The subject does the action, the object receives the action. So let me highlight these again. Subject, verb, object, just so we can stay consistent. So our subject is the company. So we always want to include the article with that. The company is our subject. Let me put S above that as well. What is our verb? Verb phrase. It's good to be able to identify all the different parts. Okay, so looking is a verb. What's our helping verb? We're not skipping around. Remember, it goes in this order. In this order. So marketing would not be the verb because you would have to skip all of this stuff in the sentence. Why are you guys skipping around? So looking is our main verb. What is our helping verb? Why are you guys skipping stuff? Is, thank you. Don't skip stuff. So is looking is our verb phrase. I'm going to highlight that whole thing. So remember, verb phrases contain helping verbs and main verbs. And it is 10:41, so we're out of time. So we're going to stop here, and that's okay. And we'll pick up from here tomorrow, and I'll explain the rest of this. Okay, so you should have up to question 8 answered. You should have up to question 8 answered. And if you are missing the About Me quiz or the summary quiz, get them done. Come to my session at 1:30 so I can help you out if you need it. Otherwise, I'll see you later. Bye.